Stick to the handbooks and the training.
Welcome to the first ever episode of Inhuman Resources, where we dive into the hilarious and horrifying realities of HR. Episode 1, Welcome to the Madness. This week, we are going to be talking about HR, the hero, the villain, and the punchline. Scary tales from the break room, funny because it's true, the psychology of HR, and rapid fire HR confessions. We started this Inhuman Resources podcast because, well, frankly, we couldn't believe the bullshit that we heard every day in HR and felt that we just wanted to talk about it. And if we wanted to talk about it, I'm sure you all want to listen about it. So what you can expect is real stories, dark humor, and HR truths that bite. All right, so my PHR partner, we are going to dive in and talk about scary tales from the break room.
Sounds good.
All right, so real life horror stories. Here we go. I'll start with one of my favorites. As a senior professional in human resources, I will never forget walking by the kitchen in the office one morning and hearing the owner of the company ask an employee, "Hey, how was your interview yesterday?" And the employee replying to the owner, "It was great, I fucking nailed it."
So now, was the owner of the company serious about
No. He was razzing him because he had taken a day off, and the joke was if you took a day off, it meant you were looking for a new job.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so hit me with one of your favorites.
So for me, the HR horror story that comes to mind is there was an employee complaint where the employee was licking his own manila folders at his desk. And it doesn't stop there. He had also told this employee, or asked the employee, if her Converse shoes talked because they were kind of ripped and they had kind of like that flappy quality about them. And it doesn't even end there. There was another part of it. The employee had complained that he had asked if this employee and another employee were married, and he was incredulous about it to the point to where he said that they were siblings.
He thought they were married and siblings?
He thought they were just siblings.
But married?
No, he didn't even believe that they were married.
Oh, I see. So he believed they were siblings, but they were actually married.
Because they shared a last name.
Interesting. Well,
and this was
my
all just one
experience
employee.
tells me that there was something more at play with this employee.
Oh.
Maybe a little substance abuse?
Oh my God, bro.
I would wager to say definitely, but there was no hard proof of it other than, I don't know. Maybe he was just a nutter butter.
Interesting.
Though that does come into play when you go to hire somebody. Like, how do you get to that point where you're hiring somebody and you get there and he comes into the office and he's licking his folders and asking employees weird questions?
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Now I want to know who this individual is. I'm wondering if he wants to come and talk with us.
What is your name?
Ask him where his frame of mind was.
Oh my gosh. Well, moving on to the weirdest employee complaint that we've ever heard. So I will tell you that there are so many of them that I just had to pick a few real doozies. So my favorite is the meow complaint. An employee complained that their coworker was meowing when actually the coworker was saying ow in pain.
You're kidding me.
No joke. No joke. Real complaint.
Meowing?
Yes.
No way. It's just how
Yeah. Yeah. And
how do you confuse that?
If
Like-
that wasn't weird enough, another employee was told a coworker complained they drank too much water, which the employee clarified was due to a neuropathy that caused them to be usually always dehydrated.
How do you get to the point to where you just complain that someone drinks too much water? Is that equal to me complaining about the coworker next to me taking too many smoke breaks?
That's a good question.
I don't know. It's like, is it really your business? Like, shouldn't you just be paying attention to your work instead of what your coworkers like?
True that, but we know all too well that that is not usually what happens. But the looking at me funny complaint is definitely one of my top 5. A cashier complained that a warehouse worker was looking at her funny in a way that seemed like he wanted to ask her out. She wasn't sure, but the look on his face gave her the impression he wanted to ask her out.
Oh, get out of here with that one. There's no way. It's like, did he actually end up asking her out?
No.
Then how did she know?
She didn't know. She just felt that the look on his face indicated that he wanted to ask her out.
Okay.
It was a funny look.
So, and I don't have a softer way to put this. How full of yourself do you have to be to assume that if you're being looked at, I don't even know what that look would look like.
Well, my guess is that if we pulled up the state mandated sexual harassment training videos, because, you know, they're so thorough, I'm sure we could review the section on what looks not to give employees because it may be considered sexual harassment.
Can that be measured with like how high somebody's eyebrows go?
Exactly.
Harassment alert.
No, that one is way out there.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
But closing out the weirdest employee complaints would be a grandmother who complained to a kindergarten teacher that her granddaughter's shirt was ugly.
Ew. You're ugly.
Only for the teacher to discover that other students had made the comment according to them.
Oh, so that was their proof? Other
Right.
students thought so too?
Right.
Wow. Okay. That's that's a lot.
Right?
So, and one of the oddest employee complaints for me was that somehow, some way, there was this discarded gift that kept making its way to a certain employee's desk. And it didn't matter how many times he had thrown it out or in which trash can it went into. Someone would dig it out, rewrap it in, I think it was douche branded printed paper from the office, and they carefully wrapped it every time, and they would put it back on his desk.
Why is it as soon as you said douche, I knew exactly who you were talking about?
Well, honestly, he was kind of a douche.
Summer's Eve takes me there.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, is this the same employee that they would take his coffee maker and put it in the bathroom?
oh yes, that's exactly. This is the exact same employee that would bring out a full blender at whatever time he deemed appropriate in the kitchen, and he would use it while people were on the phones.
Yep.
Same guy. So somehow this random gift kept being wrapped in Summer's Eve printed paper and just placed back on his desk over a week.
Oh did anybody ever complain about it? Or just him? He complained about it.
It was just him. Like, he came up to my desk and he was like, do you know how this keeps happening? Have you seen anything? And I was like, no. Let's get a statement down.
Take this to HR immediately. Terrible.
Just ridiculous. So unsanitary.
So to close out our segment, Scary Tales from the Break Room, we're going to talk a little bit about the tale of the rogue office refrigerator. Now, I don't know about you, but most companies that I've been to, their refrigerators are fairly clean. However, I will say that I am aware of one experience where not one, but 2 refrigerators were housed in a break room. And I'm telling you, every science experiment across the US was going on in both of those refrigerators 365 days out of the year, to the point where management would send out an email saying that if you did not get your disgusting, dying, decaying stuff out of these refrigerators, that there were gonna be no more refrigerators. Yes, they were gonna haul the refrigerators out of the office and no one would have a refrigerator any longer.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think it worked?
No.
No, it did not.
And I'm going to tell you
But
why.
I have to ask you,
Go ahead.
who keeps coming and putting their stuff in when there's been something dead in there for like 5 weeks? People are still coming in every day and putting their good food in there with all of those science experiments. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
I think that you have been coddled by the good refrigerators in corporate America and the good employees in corporate America, because every refrigerator that I have encountered in corporate America has been just a petri dish.
Really?
Of disgusting.
Oh.
Like, those emails go out everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, no one cares for those fridges. No one has time.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I've had 100 jobs, but in my experience and in my maybe 10 jobs in my lifetime, that was the only one that I ever ran into that was to that extent.
Oh, then
People leave their food in their refrigerator all the time, and by the way, shame on you. But I'm, no joke, like, there was some serious nuclear experiments going on in there.
Oh, I've seen so much of that in my day.
I've never seen anything like that.
I've seen various refrigerators.
And it wasn't bad enough that they did it to one refrigerator. When it got too bad, they moved over to the other one.
Oh, yeah. And then at some point, I saw 3 refrigerators all in the same state within the same office. It was just horrifying. And you know what? People would eat other people's food out of that fridge.
Oh yeah, well,
and
my
they didn't
favorite
know how
was
old
when
it was.
those little personal fridges started popping up under people's desks, and the owner's wife would freak out and go, "You can't have that there. It's a safety violation."
Could you imagine?
Would you want to put your food in that cesspool that you're managing over there in the break room? Of course, they went and got their own refrigerator.
They really tried to keep them clean.
They didn't want to die.
Could you imagine a termination where a mini fridge was involved? They'd have to bring like a whole thing to carry it out, load it into a truck, come back later. How many abandoned mini fridges were there in that office that you were in?
Too many. All right, moving into funny because it's true. We're going to talk about ridiculous interview moments, because I know that everybody's had them. Either you have given an interview a ridiculous moment, or you've been an interviewer and had a ridiculous moment given to you. So today we're going to share some of the best ones I've heard, which was a candidate misunderstood the job posting. So they were answering questions like they were talking about a different job. pretty far into the interview, the candidate asked a question that made it obvious that the interviewer and the candidate were not talking about the same job, and the interview ended very quickly after that.
Wow.
It always amazes me. How do you go into a job interview without being completely zipped up, knowing, like, researching the person who's interviewing, the company, the job itself?
Like, were they just throwing applications out to like everywhere for every position, so they got confused?
Confused about which one they were interviewing for that day? Very, very possible.
That's
very
a
possible.
rough one.
But few, very few take the cake from this one. So it was a candidate's first ever job interview. They were interviewing at a deli grocery store. The interview was going fine until the manager asked the candidate how they handle raw chicken. The candidate proceeded to explain how they handled raw chicken at home. And the candidate could see the manager was getting more and more confused. And when the candidate was done with their answer, the manager said, "No, I meant, how do you feel about handling raw chicken? Does it bother you?" And the candidate realized he was asking because of the rotisserie system and not whether or not they knew how to clean up after raw meat touches a kitchen surface.
Wow.
Needless to say, the candidate didn't get the job, but he did learn to get clarification on questions in an interview if they're too vague.
I would just shrivel up and die right there. You leave that interview and you go, and I still didn't get the job. That's
Right.
That's a rough one.
Here's a good one. This one should have applied for like the CSI team or something. The interviewer and one candidate that they were interviewing passed on 3 of 5 questions the interviewer had.
Like in person?
Yes.
So you're sitting there asking me a question, and I'm just saying pass.
Like it's a game show.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
Needless to say, the interviewer was dumbfounded. And probably the one where they knew what the salary was supposed to be beforehand, because their then husband had already reached out to ask about the job before telling the candidate about it. And then the interviewer offered them 80% of that amount because they were a woman.
Wait, that's illegal.
Oh, quite awkward. Not a fun conversation.
Oh. Yeah, that's...
How do you like them apples?
Sheesh.
Right?
Yikes.
So backtracking from interviewing to resumes, at least you're supposed to look at the resume before you interview.
Oh, I just have AI do it these days.
Yeah.
It's always wrong, but hey.
So the worst resume lines ever. These are some of my favorite. "I'll work harder if paid more." The applicant was honest about their motivation, but clearly a poor choice for any employer. "I was anti-terrorist spy for the CIA. At the same time, they were in elementary school."
No way. No.
And wait for it. "I work at a federal prison, but a background check reveals they were actually an inmate."
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from...
Oh, attention to detail with the word attention misspelled. Cooked 1 minute rice in 58 seconds. This is a well-known internet joke, so the candidate was easily caught.
Wow. So I have one of these, and it happened recently, is that the candidate had gotten a job offer and the request went through, the form or whatever process it is, and the candidate had spelled their own name wrong on the resume.
I remember this resume, actually. I do remember this.
It goes through the form with the spelling that was on the resume. It goes on to the offer letter the way that it is. And then the candidate signs the offer letter with a completely different spelling that's still not right. We had to do serious investigation into what the actual spelling was so we could correct the offer letter. And we ended up with the big question of, should we even be hiring this candidate when this
doesn't
job
know how to spell their
requires
name?
attention to detail and you can't even spell your own name right?
Oh, wow. Wow. So, a resume template with cats in the corners. It sounds like this was likely an accidental inclusion from a downloaded template.
Cats in the corners? That sounds like the guy, and I don't know if you've seen this video. There's a guy out there who went to hop on a meeting, but I guess his kids were on his Zoom. So there was a filter on it that made him look like some kind of animal or something. And he was on a business meeting like that and he couldn't fix it.
Oh my gosh. Zooms. That'll be another segment for another day.
Oh,
Zoom
I
etiquette.
am here for it. There's so much to cover there.
But none so funny as a series of letters that were sent to a charity's board members that spelled out John Smith is going to blow. This was intended as a demonstration of their marketing skills, but was seen as bizarre and unprofessional. Is there any other way to see that than bizarre and unprofessional?
What does that even... How do you get there?
I have no idea, but I'm sure John Smith does. Oh my gosh.
How else can you phrase that? Do you have the context for it?
No, I have no context for it.
So it might as well have been...
It was
John Smith is on his knees for
a
you.
letter sent to every board member that says John Smith is going to blow. Make of that what you will. Oh my goodness. All right, moving into segment 3, we're going to dive into the psychology of HR. Ooh, that's scary. Because there has to be something wrong with us for us to choose to put up with this shit every day.
I'm here to have my popcorn, right here by my side, because you hear the weirdest shit in HR.
So weird. So, why HR is both the therapist and the executioner? I ask myself that every day. I have to be the messenger of the worst news ever, sometimes good news, but then also be the therapist to, soothe you through it. How does that even work? How do you get to a place where you're is therapizing a word?
Dictionary.
I think it might be at this point.
Is therapizing a word?
I think it might be.
Okay, well, if it is, you're therapizing the people that you're ruining their life. on the worst day of their life,
While also therapizing the owners.
Their job, they're being investigated. But here, let me try to work through this with you. Make you feel better about yourself and the situation.
Well, you're also on the other end therapizing the owners or your bosses, going, this is okay. This is going to be okay as long as we do it the right way.
God, what owners or bosses are you working with? Because mine are straight up like,
we'll do
can't
what
we
want.
just fire him? What do you mean he's got rights? What rights? I got to run a business here.
I will take my dirty, disgusting fridges over that attitude any day.
Right. Yeah. And trust me, they're not all like that, but a lot of them are.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No, I've run into my fair share of those too.
Yeah.
Why can't we just do it now?
Boggles my mind. I feel like I provide more therapy to business owners than I do to employees.
Oh, and you probably do. And it's probably just to keep them from doing the thing that they
Hanging
really
themselves?
want. Yep.
I'm a famous guy.
I'm feeling very uncomfortable right
Please
now.
come in now.
Yeah.
Yep. HR
Yeah.
is a very fine line. You're there to protect the employees, but also protect the business. It's hard.
Like, how do you open a business and then, like, 5 years later, get caught off guard that employees have rights in this country? That always just boggles my mind.
It's like the, hey, we're paying an employee salary. We suddenly don't have to pay overtime. For certain positions.
That's a whole nother episode.
Oh, yeah, like exempt and non-exempt. Don't get caught with your pants down.
Yeah, no. I mean, there is an emotional toll on being the people person.
Oh, yeah. And that's why you have to be an expert therapizer.
I really want someone to tell me once and for all if that is a word.
Dictionary.
Because if it's not, it should be.
I'm pretty sure that it is.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then it is now.
Okay, well, the emotional toll of being the people person. I guess I would love to know how, like, other HR professionals, people who have been in the business for a long time, cope.
Gotcha, babe. Okay.
I know how I cope. I can share that I just, get shithoused once a week and try to forget all the ugly crap that people put in my head.
Oh, God.
Like being called a donkey or, licking their coworker's neck or, who knows. But yeah.
That's the stuff that keeps you up at night.
I always imagine it as being, okay, every cop out there is probably going to hate me.
Okay, Mom, you are currently under arrest.
But I always imagine it as being almost like being a cop, where you see all this ugly stuff that human beings are capable of, doing or saying to each other, just in a professional environment instead of the public, right?
Yeah.
And then taking it home with you, like it hardens you to some degree, but yet the whole purpose of your existence is to not let it affect you and just continue to do your job like a robot, like you're inhuman. And so, I feel like I got to take my hat off to all of the HR professionals that are able to manage that well, because it is not easy. Just I'm sure it isn't easy for, police officers to take home, the things that they see in the field. Like, it's hard not to bring it home with you and to be able to shed it and get up and do the same thing every day with a smile on your face and not really, letting on, how you're feeling. And, it's agonizing sometimes.
Absolutely.
Considering some of the things, at least that I've seen in my career. And I mean, I've seen some ugly, ugly stuff. We talk about it now. We're joking about some of the funniest, dumbest stuff that we've ever heard or seen. But like, there is an uglier reality out there that's going on in corporate America. And I'm very curious to know, how other heads of HR cope with it.
Yeah. And it's not just the ones
because I may need a new tool instead
Yeah.
of alcohol. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But nothing harder than that, please, people.
Right.
Yeah, it's especially hard when you're working for someone who does not respect what you do.
Oh, 100%.
As an HR professional.
Yeah, and
well.
I think there's a huge stigmatism that still exists. I think it has existed for a long time, and it still exists today, that HR, is just that thorn in the side, the thorn in the leadership side, because we have to tell you the unfortunate truths about how you are expected and required to behave, policies you are expected to enforce, behavior that you are expected to have, and let's face it, a lot of them don't like that, and so we become the bad guy. So, and then of course, you know, depending on which side of the employee pool you're at or on, you know, people, even employees, sometimes have a bad taste in their mouth, you know, from HR. Why? Because they have to ride a line between protecting the business and protecting the employees' rights. And it's not easy, I think, for employees to believe that that's able to be done fairly.
Yeah, they think that you're the enemy, and then
that you're looking out for the company only,
and then the company's thinking that you're just being killjoy and a wet rug.
All right, so we're closing out the night with rapid fire HR confessions. So I want to hear some really dark confessions out of you, my PHR co-host.
I once, against my better judgment, went ahead and Googled a current employee, and it turned out that he had lied on his application about fraud, and he also did some time for kidnapping.
That's dark.
Yeah, that was much darker than I thought it was going.
There was no creamer in that coffee.
I just wanted to know, you know, like previous living, like states and stuff. But that went into like, you know, news reports, and just it was a lot for one workday.
Did he get fired?
No. And it was very interesting because I was just kind of looking over my shoulder the whole time because of the kidnapping thing for a while. And I'm pretty sure that the boss person ended up kind of like telling him about it. And I was just like, I probably shouldn't have done that or said anything about it.
Well, for all of you listeners out there that are wondering what's so bad about Googling, I'll tell you. We'll use this as a teaching moment.
Get out. We're here to learn.
So, in the HR world, regulations are that you are not allowed to Google the personal information or search out personal information about employees and then use it or share it for any adverse action if you're in a place of human resources or in a position where you can make decisions like hiring and firing or taking adverse actions. So that's why that's such a great confession.
Yeah, that's terrible. I did a bad thing.
All right. Well, then I'm going to tell you that my confession of the evening is that I was the head of HR for a company, and there was an employee that just rubbed everybody the wrong way. And I mean, rubbed hard. So one day, she went to lunch with another coworker, left her keys on her desk, and I took her keys and moved her car to another parking lot.
Gosh. You did not Grand Theft Auto somebody.
I did move her car to another parking lot.
Do you find in much these stolen cars?
And then I proceeded to experience a tremendous amount of joy while I watched her for a half an hour from the second story window of the building, trying to figure out why her car wasn't where she knew she left it and looking for it.
Did the police get involved?
Nah, she found it eventually.
Eventually?
Eventually.
I can't. Yeah, that's quite the confession there.
All right. We're going to play Would You Rather.
Ooh.
Okay. Would you rather give a speech at an all hands meeting or fire somebody?
I would. Wait, do I have to be on camera for the all hands?
Yes.
Oh, ew. Yeah, I think I would have to take the all hands. I would sit in on a termination, and I would probably start crying before the employee died.
Oh, you're firing me?
I'm too sensitive for that. Would you rather terminate someone remote who is likely to sue due to discrimination with cause, or terminate someone mentally unstable in person in office?
You're fired.
Oh, all day long, I would rather terminate someone over Zoom that is likely to sue, because if I'm HR, they can sue all they want. They're probably not going to get far.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking in terms of paperwork and the lengthy amount of...
Oh, girl, I went to a totally different space. I was like mentally unstable in person. Like they're gonna attack me. Yeah, I'm out of there. I'll do the Zoom. Somebody else can do the in person.
That's fair. Totally fair. Yep.
Closing out with you tonight, we are going to shout out to our listener poll for the week. What's worse, exit interviews or team building retreats? We want to hear from you. Which is worse? Leave a comment for us, and maybe we'll pick up your comment next week and give you a shout out. Next week, join us for HR Isn't Human, and that's the point. We'll talk about the office party that ended in termination. See you next week.
Go breaking protocols. Please stick to the handbooks and the training you're using.